So Holy Priest got a few buffs recently, most notably a 25% buff to Holy Word Serenity and a 15% buff to Flash Heal, as well as some damage buffs. And with Season 3 seemingly winding down, thought I'd take a break from Disc and give Holy and Mythic Plus a try. Well, I was not disappointed, so I want to tell you guys what makes Holy Priest an appealing choice this season and why I was so impressed when I finally played it. And if you're looking to give Holy Priest a try in Dragonflight Season 3, I've got everything you need here to get you started. Aside from a brief stint at the top in the second half of Shadowlands, the story has pretty much always been the same for Holy Priest. It's a reactive healer that's pretty simple to play. While being very beginner friendly, it has some long running shortcomings that usually keep it out of the tippy top key pusher groups, poor survivability, and very little group utility or damage reductions. And while that hasn't changed, if you're not looking to push into the high 20s or 30s, let me tell you, I think you might be shocked at how good Holy Priest can be in Mythic Plus and how quickly you can pick it up and run with it. Holy Priest absolutely slings around single target heals at a rapid fire pace. In fact, your AoE healing is also mostly single target heals, but the speed at which health bars get boosted back up to full is pretty impressive. Not to mention the damage ceiling on this spec is pretty insane. So if you're looking for a change in your healer life, you might want to give this a try. It is kind of nice to play a reactive healer and just react to everything that's going on in your group and not have to worry about doing things preemptively. It's just so much more forgiving than a spec like Disc if you play in pug groups or more or less casual groups with friends. So here's the talent build I'm running. Nothing super special here, and I don't want to spend 10 minutes going in depth on every talent, but I do want to note a couple things. First of all, post-nerf Power Word Life is just kind of a bad spell. I feel like just leaning into your strength and pushing for even more raw healing with Benevolence is the way to go here. Miracle Worker is an absolute must when it comes to our 4-set bonus, which we'll get into in just a second, and you'll find a lot of value in Divine Image, even post-nerf. Your only real heal cooldown is Apotheosis on a 2-minute CD, and outside of that, it's basically going to come down to managing your Holy Words properly, because Holy Priest's normal rotation is kind of like a healing cooldown in and of itself. Just a quick note about stats. One of the great things if you're coming over from being a Disc player and maybe giving Holy a bit of a try is that they have essentially the same stat priority. You're going to want to take Haste first and then get a good mix of crit and versatility. Versatility might take a little bit of a half a step ahead as Holy, in my opinion, just because of the fact that your defensive options are even more limited. So here's how the set bonus works. The 2-set causes your Holy Word spells to apply a renew to your target, and the 4-set gives that renew a chance to cause one of your Holy Word charges to be free. This is why Miracle Worker becomes such a crucial talent, because while this set is super strong, it makes an existing charge free. It does not give you a charge. So ideally, you want to try and hold one charge of Holy Word Serenity to use all your free procs on and use the second charge at will. As far as Sanctify goes, it's a pretty mediocre AoE heal, and I just throw it out there when you think it might help a little bit. Just remember that if you're 4-set procs and you don't have any available charges of a Holy Word, you'll still want to wait for it to come off cooldown to use the proc. And the set procs a lot, so this makes managing your Holy Word sort of the main skill play when it comes to Holy Priest. As far as your healing rotation goes, it's quite simple. I usually break rotations into layers of priority and all that, but for Holy Priest, honestly, you really don't need to. Your first priority is to cast Prayer Mending on cooldown and aim to get 14 stacks rolling on people. Prayer Mending does a lot of healing over the course of a dungeon, synergizes with a good number of talents, including giving us a free Apotheosis for 8 seconds when our Answered Prayers talent reaches 50 stacks and contributing to the cooldown reduction of our Holy Words. Just make sure you're using Prayer Mending on cooldown. It will do a lot of passive work for you. Outside of that, Holy Priest is a reactive healer. Holy Word Serenity is your best heal. It's a massive, instant cast, single target chunker heal that moves health bars in a big way. Use the first charge liberally, use your set bonus procs liberally, but don't throw out that second charge unless it's really a life or death situation. When Serenity isn't necessary to use or not available, use Flash of Light as your single target heal, and make sure you're spending your instant cast no mana Surge of Light procs when you get them. Finally, you can use your Holy Word Sanctify for a bit of AoE healing when needed, but don't rely on it to massively move health bars. Your main AoE healing will come from your Prayer of Mending, bouncing around and whipping around those Surge of Light heals and Holy Word Serenities. You're not really ever going to cast heal or renew manually, so there's really only about 4 heal buttons you need to worry about pressing. As for cooldown usage, well, it's mostly Apotheosis. This not only makes your holy words come back really fast and makes them more mana efficient, but also gives you a charge of each of them when you activate it, meaning it's a good idea to empty the chamber of your holy word charges before hitting Apotheosis so you can get the most out of this cooldown. Other than that, just remember, it's only 2 minutes, so use it often. It's all you got. You also have Guardian Spirit, which really serves 2 functions. The first is as a targetable cheat death. If the person dies with Guardian Spirit on, they will heal to 40% health instead of dying. You can use this strategically and throw it on someone, or oftentimes yourself, and ignore healing them, letting them die, and insta-heal to 40% while you focus on other people. Kind of goes against your healing instincts, but it can come in handy at times. The other purpose GS serves is as a buff to single target healing. The target of GS receives 60% more healing, so if you know another player is about to get trucked by some sort of debuff or something, you can throw this on them to make keeping them alive easier. Also keep in mind that the target of GS does not die. It goes on a reduced cooldown, so it's kind of a win-win. You don't mind incurring the full cooldown if you save someone from death, and if they live, you get it back sooner. Honestly, the big idea with Holy Priest is pretty straightforward. You muscle heal your way through everything, and you've actually got the throughput to make that happen right now. Another great part of Holy Priest is its damage. Holy has a very high damage ceiling, however, its damage is very active, meaning you can really only do it when you're not otherwise occupied healing. In a perfect scenario where you don't really need to do any healing at all, you would dot up a pack with Shadow Word Pain, activate your Imperial Blaze and drop down 4 Holy Fires, throw out a Divine Star and a 20 stack of Holy Nova, and throw a Holy Word Chastise on a priority target. From there, it's casting Holy Fire and Divine Star on cooldown, maybe doing some Holy Nova spam toward the end of an AoE pack. Smite is nowhere near as impactful of a DPS spell for Holy as it is for Disc, and while it did receive a buff, it's still kind of at the bottom of our DPS priorities. Just remember, it's not very often that you get a perfect scenario like that, so the main thing is to use that Imperial Blaze and your Holy Fire on cooldown, Divine Star when you can, try and get some of those Holy Novas out. On the topic of Holy Word Chastise, one cool trick you can pull with this spell, once you get your bearings about you as a Holy Priest, is to use this spell as kind of a Divine Image activator. So casting Chastise will activate Divine Image, and then from there, you can get ready to have that mimic the DPS and healing that you do when you know you're going to be doing either a lot of DPS or a lot of healing. On a final note, survivability. If you push into higher queues, you'll find that this is a significant weakness of Holy. Your only options are the 10% damage reduction from Fade, the 33% HP gain from Desperate Prayer, which are both pretty lackluster as defensives go. This means that as the healer, you must prioritize your own health. Top yourself off before a big burst of damage comes in. Use Guardian Spirit on yourself if you think you might die. Don't be afraid to be a little bit more defensive with your gear, maybe adding some verse or using a trinket like Sea Star to mitigate a little incoming damage. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, I would always appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button, subscribing to see more of my YouTube content in the future. Check out my live stream over on twitch.tv/donkeystorm or right here on this YouTube channel. And check out that join button to support my channel and become a channel member. It's super, super helpful. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy holding.